Could you please say hello to the camera?
Hello, my name is Jonathan.
Hello, my name is Anna.
Hi, my name is Suraj.
I'm Emily.
And I'm Colby.
What is your religion?
I do not have a religion.
I also do not really have a religion, but I would consider myself spiritual.
So I am atheist, meaning I have no religion.
I'm not particularly religious, but I do consider myself spiritual.
I am Roman Catholic.
Have you ever experienced other religions? And can you talk about your experience?
Yes, so for the first 13 years of my life, I was raised as a Christian. In specific, I was raised as a Jehovah's Witness. It's a very strict form of Christianity with very many rules. I had a lot of experience with that. After I was 13, I was no longer part of the church. After I went and I experienced many other religions, I tried to study Islam. I read the entire Quran. I attended various religious ceremonies at mosques, and then afterwards I read the Bhagavad Gita, which is the Hindu text, and tried to familiarize myself with that. But with all three, I did not feel any particular closeness to any of them.
I went to a private Christian school, 3rd grade through 9th grade, and I have learned about other religions through friends, host families, talking to people, and reading various things.
I was brought up in the Hindu tradition, and then I went to a Catholic school for most of my primary schooling. And then also, since Islam is a big religion in India, I've been exposed to that to a certain degree since I have family there, and also when I was growing up in Singapore, I had many friends who prescribed to Islam as well.
I was brought up Christian, Methodist to be specific, and went to a Catholic middle school as well. And I've had a lot of friends who were Jewish, and then I've had a lot of friends who were Hindu.
I was raised as a Catholic since I was born. I've gone to church like every Sunday until college, basically. And my parents were pretty strict in their religion, and then I've gotten less strict with it recently. But as far as like experience with other religions, the only other religion that I've really experienced is Judaism. A lot of my friends were Jewish growing up, so I've gone to a lot of their celebrations and participated in some of the traditions of Judaism as well.
Have you ever experienced Buddhism? And Buddhism always talks about life is painful and vexed, but Christianity always thinks life is helpful. What do you think?
So as I stated before, I've read the entirety of the Bhagavad Gita, and I have some experience in certain traditions. In terms of what I think about the reasoning behind Buddhism viewing life as an endless cycle of torment, whereas Christianity views life as the point of life to be to benefit thy fellow man and follow God's commandments, is because for Buddhism, life is pain because of its circular nature, the fact that you repeat until you achieve nirvana, whereas for Christianity, the end goal is to serve God and then to go into heaven to serve with Him. Whereas for Buddhism, you will continue your cycle until you achieve nirvana. So I think that the reason why Christianity is more about helping man is because you have a short time here, whereas for Buddhism, you will be here forever until you achieve nirvana.
I learned about Buddhism a little bit with my host family and just from personal research that I've done in classes. And though John has covered more of the details, I think in a more general sense, people find different ways to interpret life and its meaning. So I think it makes sense that there are different views as to what life is really like, because it's a matter of perspective. So there are merits to every perspective.
I mean, I think at its core, every religion tries to, articulate a way of being that centers around being kind to your neighbor, being peaceful with your peers, trying to do good and be good in life. And I think just different religions go about adopting that message in different ways. So in terms of Buddhism, it says life is painful, and the only way to get nirvana is to renounce all possessions and be spiritual and dedicate your life towards helping others. And then in terms of Christianity, you mentioned that it says that the point of life is to be helpful. So kind of very similar things, which is describing or prescribing a way of life in different ways.
Wow, couldn't have said that better. Because, yeah, Buddhism, you're trying to reach enlightenment, I believe. And to do that, you have to strip yourself away of everything. But once you reach that, you know, it's perfect. But Christianity also, too, you're trying to help people and be helpful to also get to some afterlife goal of heaven. So, yeah, just different ways of going about.
Yeah, and I personally don't have any experience with Buddhism, but I will say that, like, along the same lines as what Anna was saying, that any religion, I think in general, is kind of just the idea of a religion is basically to try to understand and give meaning to life. So I think, like John was talking about the details, I think ultimately they both result in the same end goal, is to try to like help everyone around you and live this meaningful life, and the motivation behind it is different, but I think that most religions are similar in that that's the ultimate goal.
You just mentioned that you have experienced these different religions. And would you like to get to know more about these religions?
Yeah, I mean, I would love to learn more about, you know, the creation stories, myths, traditions of different religions. I think that's useful. I think everyone should at least have some kind of basic knowledge of other religions. In my life, I've tried to learn about other religions as much as I can, either just through, you know, reading about it myself or talking about just kind of talking about it with my peers who have different religions than me. So I think everyone, even if they are not religious, should kind of have working knowledge of other faiths.
Yeah, I agree with Suraj. I really like learning about different religions through like my friends. I get kind of bored if I'm studying it like on the internet or reading a book about it, but I really like hearing about my friends and their religion and what that means for them and their family and their traditions. So yeah, it's also been something I've been trying to do well here with people I've been meeting, except my LET is Christian, but just also hearing what that means to be Christian in Kinmen is interesting. So yeah.
Yes, I think I really enjoy learning about religions, even though I'm not a religious person. I find that religion often influences culture, which influences religion, so therefore learning about a religion is learning about culture, it's learning about an experience and an identity all at the same time. And while I do not personally believe, I believe that the more I know, the more I can understand those around me.
I would agree with a lot of what John said. I think that the more that I learn about religion, the more I can learn about how people think and the way that they interpret their own religions is really interesting, in learning about culture and community. So I'm always open to learning more.
Yeah, and I totally agree with what both of them said. And without repeating it, I think that I would definitely like to learn about more religions. I think that lately a lot of the public attention and media maybe has been focused on like differences between religions and like divisions, and I think in reality there's a lot of similarities between religions, and though there are differences in practices and beliefs, I think that, as I said before, the ultimate goal is kind of the same or similar anyway. So I'm really interested in trying to understand what other people believe, even though I'm not trying to like buy into it myself, but yeah, for sure understanding others' beliefs.
And I have one last question for you. That is, do you mind dating someone from different religion?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think it's important to be respectful of other people's beliefs, even if you don't share those beliefs. So, in that vein, yeah, if I think that I could spend my life with someone or have a meaningful relationship with someone, and they may have a different belief system than me, I think that shouldn't be a barrier. However, at the same time, I think it's also important to respect boundaries, and that, if, say, a future partner is very strong in their beliefs in terms of trying to force me into adopting it, I think that's somewhere somewhere I may feel uncomfortable. But other than that, I think that everyone should be open and respectful for other belief systems. And so if I am dating someone who is religious and I'm not, I don't think why that's a significant issue.
Yeah, if they're a different religion, that's okay, that's fine. But sometimes certain religions value things that I might disagree with, and if they're too strong trying to force me to believe in something, then that would be not good.
So I have dated people from other religions, and I say it, I do not. It is can be a very big issue because depending on their beliefs, they might not want to be in a relationship with me at all because I don't date women, I date men. So it's very hard for me to be with religious people because often religion does not approve of this.
I would say that I'd be open to dating people of other religions, but I haven't had experience with dating people from other religions, so there could be that. But as long as there is a common communication and understanding that there won't be like immediate buy-in into things, I think that I'm always open to learning about people's perspectives and why they think the way that they think.
And I am definitely open to dating people of other religions. I think it would become a problem for me once they try to impose their religion on me. I'm definitely open to learning about it, and if I see value in it, then maybe starting to participate in that religion. But I think it would be a problem for me if someone is really strictly religious and wants to impose that onto me right away. I think I would see that as a problem. But if that's not the case and they're willing to date someone, I know other religions have pretty strong preferences about like dating someone within the same religion, but if they're willing to date someone of another religion, then I would also be open to it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.